What's up, America? Neil from Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to get into another Olight review. Now, before you tune out, it has nothing to do with flashlights. This is actually a brand new product, and while you're watching this video, it's the first day of the release for the new Olight Red Dot. Let's check it out. So we're going to put a timestamp down below, so if you want to get to the nuts and bolts of the features of the product and whatnot, go ahead and do that. If you want to hear my 2 cents on Olight and whether this can be a disruptor to the market, stay tuned. Here we go. So first of all, we have to think about, has there ever been a product, right, that has come along, and especially in the industry, especially in the red dot industry, that has upset the market, if you will, that's been a newcomer, maybe even a newcomer that's not even an American-made product, that has shaken up the market. And I can tell you, first and foremost, you all know the brand Holosun. Holosun, from all the red dot trainings I've taken and all the ones I put on as an instructor, I would say good 85 to 90% of all red dots are Holosun products. So clearly a company can come from the back, if you will, and really disrupt the market. Is the Olight, the O-Sight as they're starting to call it, is that such a product? Well, I don't know that for sure, and no one can tell you that answer because no one's had this long enough to really give you any type of real feedback as far as reliability. And I can tell you right now, you're not going to get it from me or anyone else until we have more time with it. So what I can tell you is from the initial impressions of it and the features that it has and how it compares to products that are currently in existence. That's the best anyone's going to be able to do as of May of 2024 when this video first came out, especially on the release date. Now let's talk about the actual company themselves. Olight, I mean, obviously they're not a public company. I don't know their financials, but I would care to bet that based on the lights that they put out as far as being a manufacturer and making products, I would say that they probably have enough financial backing to be able to produce a quality product and be able to put it into the marketplace and do a good job at it. Whether this is it or not remains to be seen, but I do think there is some potential there. So let's start getting into the product and the features of it and see what we think. We're gonna get some B-roll and some up close here in a little bit, so don't worry about that. We're gonna give you all the angles and you'll be able to see this in great detail. But this is the Olight product sitting on the XDM Elite. It's one of the guns they had available for plate. This does have the RMR footprint and installed just like any other red dot or green dot that you may have seen in the past. So let's talk about what's unique about this product. Again, I'm not a big unboxer, as you know, but just because it's a brand new release and whatnot, I wanted to at least show you. It comes in their typical, this is like any other flashlight box they've ever made, with your instructions that has 7,000 different languages. It comes in a nice little bag, which will make sense here in just a second. It comes with a it's a tool that looks just like someone else's. I won't say their name. Very interesting, but it is very handy and well made. Inside the box, it also came with a mount so that you could put this on a Picatinny rail if you wanted to mount this on some type of rifle and whatnot. It comes with a cleaning cloth. This I thought was pretty clever and nice. They actually give you a full set of different screws on the actual plastic case. Take my word for it. It's probably not going to be showing up on camera here, but it actually tells you exactly what screw they are. When you open it up, there'll be a little foam case, and it has 3 screws in it so that whatever size you need you have available. It's got Loctite put on it. These actually slide on and off. Some thought put in this. I thought it was a pretty well put together idea. Now here's what makes this particular red dot stand apart, I guess, at the moment from any other offerings. And that is that they're using the same kind of charging tech that they've had with their flashlights. Now let's just talk about their flashlights for a minute. I have a ton. In fact, anybody that has a YouTube channel with just 1 subscriber has a ton of these because Olight gave it to everybody. So I've got tons of flashlights. I had one flashlight that failed me. I don't think that overall they make a poor product at all. I think overall they make a pretty good product. But nonetheless, that's just my opinion, and your mileage may have varied. I know lots of people that absolutely despise them. So this is what happens. You have this USB cable in here. It's a C cable, and you get this cover. And this is not a protective cover, this is actually a charging cover. And what's unique and interesting about this cover is that once you place this cover onto the device, you will see a green meter. So again, let me take that off on camera. Here's the top, and by the way, this is not a light sensor. We'll get into that in a second. That's the charging port or connector, the magnetic connection, whatever. You can see that there's nothing on the back of the top of the charger. And then once you connect it, there you go, you will see the green numbers light up. And it kind of rotates like a clock. It's very cool. And it tells you that it's fully charged. Again, I haven't had tremendous time to test it. I will give you the facts as far as what they claim it will do as far as time goes and how long a charge will last. I've had it for a couple weeks now. I've had it charged one time and it's been doing great. I haven't had any issues. Nonetheless, this plugs into a regular charger. Your USB connection connects in here, and then you can plug this guy and it will charge up your optic, ready to go. When it comes to batteries and rechargeable batteries, and I've said this about flashlights in general, typically I use utility lights to be rechargeable because I use them all the time, and then defensive lights, I use solid state batteries, you know, whatever they are, CR123s, whatever, because if you leave those two devices, if you take a rechargeable flashlight and a non-rechargeable flashlight and you don't use them for 6-8 months and they sit on the counter and then you turn them both on, the one that has the solid state battery in it that's not rechargeable will always have a higher light capability and stays charged longer. Obviously, as time goes on, technology will change, and maybe one day that'll be the complete opposite. The rechargeable ones will be the best on the business. I don't think that's the case yet. That said, as far as this goes, that is a very cool feature in the sense that there's no battery cover to take off. I don't have to take the unit off to change the battery. There's no side door to take the battery off. There's no battery, period, to take out. We just connect the charger and connect it. How long will the battery last? Nobody really knows as far as real-life testing. We don't know. It's brand new. It does have the auto-dimming capability, and I've always been a big fan of that up until recent times, really testing them in low-light conditions from what we're really using pistols for. Although I think it's a cool feature, I'm not like, I gotta have it anymore. At the end of the day, even if the light that you have is really bright for the room, what does it matter? We're not shooting 80 yards with this pistol. It's close quarters, and as long as I can see the dot, so even if it's really bright, I just put it center mass and we're good to go. That said, it is a cool feature. This is unique in the sense that the sensor, you may know a very popular brand, I don't want to keep saying it, up top has a sensor, and whatever room light I'm in, like this studio right now, that dot will adjust to that level. This one's a little unique, and there's no one behind the camera, so I'm gonna point this here. You may not be able to see it, it doesn't matter, but right here in this area is going to be a sensor, and that sensor is what actually adjusts the light. So that is a pretty cool thing in the sense that the light sensor is going forward into the room you're going into. So if you have different lighting environments, it's going to adjust where you're going. So that is pretty neat. The one drawback I have found, and I don't know if it's just within the unit itself, but the brightest setting that you can get manually seems to be significantly brighter than the brightest level of the automatic sensor. I was at an indoor range today. It wasn't the best well-lit range, and I actually had to take it out of auto and just manually turn it up as high as it would go in order for the person to be able to see the dot. I don't know if that's just this model or something they're working on or just the way it is. I do think that the adjustment speed is phenomenal. It's one of the fastest adjusting auto lights I've seen. I mean, it almost happens so fast you have to literally watch the light, otherwise it's already changed. So it is very fast. That is pretty cool. I just wish it was a little bit brighter. Let's talk for a minute about physical impressions. And again, this has nothing to do with reliability because we don't know. When I took this out of the box for the first time, I was surprised at the weight. It's heavy. And I mean that in a good way. It seems well made. Again, this could be the most sturdy metal structure ever made, but if it has bad electronics and it only lasts for 2 mags, then it's not going to work. I'm not saying that's the case. So far I've had zero, just spoiler alert, I've had 0 failures. It's worked great. It's done everything I've asked it to do. I have no issues with that, but again, this is not long-term. We're talking, there's been hundreds of rounds shot from this, and we're talking weeks, so not long-term by any stretch of the imagination. It does seem very robust and very heavy, especially comparing it to other optics that I've held from other brands. It is a large optic. I mean, when you look at this, I know this is a kind of a subcompact size gun, a compact gun. It's a big optic. We're going to compare some well-known optics so you can kind of get a size comparison. But as far as initial what it feels like, it feels beefy. It feels very strong, very heavy. Whether that turns out to be the case long-term, we'll find out. The buttons, we have soft rubber buttons, plus and minus right here on the side. Again, remember there's no doors or anything for battery, so it's pretty slick as far as its setup. You're going to have your adjustment for the up and down and for left and right, or windage right here. It's pretty standard setup, and of course your tiny screwdriver that they give you or one that you may have will adjust that. I haven't seen it lose zero, no issues with that. Again, I haven't long-term beat it up, but so far so good. We're going to do some comparison on some well-known other optics so you can kind of see the size so that we're on the same page in regards to how big it is. And it is a large window. This is not by any means, if you were carrying this gun, this would be a very, very, very large optic, in my opinion, for carry. So we'll take a look at that here in just a second. And then we'll also get into what does Olight claim it will do. And we'll do some shooting footage in here and the whole 9 yards. To put in perspective how big this unit is, the closest thing that I could find that I own is the Holosun Comp. Okay, this is the 507 Comp. This is for competition. It is a big, big window. It's the only optic I found that has pretty much the same height. The Comp, which is this side, is wider. As far as height goes, the Olight is taller than every other red dot that I have. That is the Holosun 507K, and as you can see, it literally dwarfs it. It is just significantly bigger in every dimension. This is my actual duty gun, and I have the EPS from Holosun on it. It's a fully enclosed emitter, and as you can see here, the Olight is just huge in comparison, especially when it comes to height. Now, when I keep saying about the height of this and how big it is, I'm not knocking it. If that's, again, if you're looking for a tiny subcompact carry, this isn't it. But if you're looking for a really tall window, this guy is, again, one of the largest I've seen at all, other than the Holosun Comp. It's a huge window, which can be a very good thing. Give you a lot more view of your target. Now, one problem you're going to see here, and you're going to notice it pretty well, I'm sure you'll be able to see on the back of where the rear sight is, there is zero co-witness that you're going to get on this without some type of suppressor height sights. I am not a co-witness guy. I don't want to turn this into a training video. I don't care. I don't use red dots that way. Even if the red dot goes down, I'm not going to sights. Again, not a training video. So that doesn't bother me at all, but if that's an issue, you're definitely going to need suppressor height sights if you want some type of lower 1/3 or absolute co-witness. So understand that. You guys can read all the specs you want. We'll put them on the screen, but just some things to note. A lot of people want to know right off the bat. The dot is a 3 MOA. It comes in, happens to be red. It also comes in green. Another feature is the battery itself. They are claiming, and again, no one can really substantiate this, it hasn't been out long enough, but they're saying that they have 70,000 hours on a single charge, which would be pretty incredible because you could pretty much charge it once a year. I mean, that's a lot of hours. As far as that big window I keep talking about, they say their actual measurement is 0.94 by 0.85, so it's almost an inch, which is quite a bit. They say that they have tested it with over 10,000 rounds. I don't know. Again, I certainly didn't, so I have no idea. It does have 10 daytime and 2 night settings as far as adjustability. It has the RMR footprint, which is super convenient. That's pretty common. And it does have a motion sensor, like a shake-awake type of setup. I'm not going to get into pricing because it's going to depend on when you watch it and what kind of specials there are and how well these do, of course. I can tell you that based on what they've provided me, that this is going to be a very affordable optic, so the same, area of your other brands that are well made but affordable. Again, I don't want to get into that. You can look it up on your time, and you'll be able to actually use the link below if you want to get a hold of one. Let's get to some shooting. Well, we're going to get going for one of our many range sessions here. We're using Winchester ammo, which is not supplied by Winchester. So this is our own stuff. We're going to put it through our paces a little bit and show you on camera how it comes out. We'll set up a couple malfunction drills. As you see, we've been trying to beat this up a little bit, give it good work through here for the limited time that we have it. So here we go, and we're going to rack this off of a steel bumper. A couple things to mention while we're out here in the range. There is, at this time, this is an open emitter. There is no enclosed one as of yet that I know of. And as far as the actual reticle itself, it's a 3 MOA dot, and there's no circle or anything else as of right now. It's not, you can't change it. So if you like the dot, it's a nice clean dot. Obviously with the camera it's hard to focus on it to show it to you. As far as basic operation, you press and hold the two plus and minuses and that will shut the dot off. Any button, plus or minus, will re-engage the light. It will stay, if you had it on a manual setting, meaning it's not using auto adjust, it'll come back to the setting that you just had. You can increase or decrease the brightness manually if you wish, or you can let it do its auto sensing, which has been really good. If you want to change it from an auto adjust to manual adjust, you can press and hold the plus button and it will flash, telling you that that has now been changed. It has a lockout feature, so no matter what button you press, it will stay locked out unless you press and hold the plus button again. If you want to toggle back to a manual, or I'm sorry, an auto mode, you can press and hold it, it'll flash again. And again, that's exactly how you would go to lockout. So lockout, auto, and manual adjustments all be done by holding that plus button on there. There you guys saw us. We again, I'm not claiming that we went through some massive torture test and that we shot tens of thousands of rounds, because we didn't. We've only had it for a few weeks. I've had some students shoot it. Obviously you see us shooting it. Again, it's held 0, which I would expect almost anything to hold based on what we were able to put through it. If this is something you're willing to take a look at, then you can always use the link down below. Again, only time will tell as far as overall reliability, but from what I can tell at this time, with the limited time that I have, it seems like a very solid product. We will do a long-term review or a follow-up video, especially if it blows up or it turns out to be super awesome. Either way, we'll put a video out on what we thought long-term, so that'll be coming. Obviously, that's not going to help you right now. By the time you watch this video, it may be out. Depends on when you see it. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to read the comments below. It should be very spicy. As always, you know where to find us here on YouTube. We are on Rumble, we are on Instagram, and we put all our premium and only seen on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.